Welcome back to Monday Evening Football, guys. Daily show. Hey, we killed it yesterday, Nick, breaking down the San Diego Chargers Raiders
Oh, it's
game.
fun, man.
I think we both had the Chargers in that Week 4 Monday evening matchup,
We did.
which I think a lot of people will, and I think I will say the sports books they'll probably agree with us on that one. We'll see. We still got a long ways to go till the season, but what day we got here? Tuesday. Tuesday.
Tuesday.
Nick's back. Nick, these damn lights are still green. What the fuck's going on, my guy?
Oh, dude, it's pissing me off. I go home, back to Chicago for the weekend,
Yep.
do a little bridal shower, for my fiance. It's a lovely time. Come back to Myrtle Beach. I'm excited. I've mentioned this before. I coach high school basketball. This is the first day, that where I'm at, that we get to kind of work with the kids. It was a great day. I'm
Yeah.
excited about all these things, and yet I come home and my phone is just nothing but news stories about how Aaron Rodgers is probably not going to show up today, and these damn lights are still green because of it. It's tough.
Yeah. That is true. And I will say this. I was reading a couple articles around this situation because it's getting to be a little worrisome, but I did see some information that I took, probably a little more serious than, other people around the league would take it. But I did see in an article that they were talking about how the Packers and Aaron Rodgers had liked how this conversation has gone, just back between them two, or their
Oh,
two
okay.
camps,
Yeah.
because I think you saw like Aaron Rodgers, he wasn't thrilled that it got out. Obviously, the Packers weren't thrilled that it got out. And then you just put all this external noise on this stuff that I think it really makes it hard for these two camps to really try to come together and resolve these issues. Because I think now, like, the media attention has definitely helped get it to the point where it needs to get to. So, we could start this healing process, get some resolutions done, and things like that. I'm still optimistic Aaron will be back. Is it going to be this week? I don't know. I thought we had a potential news break story there was Zadarius Smith yesterday being in
Yeah.
Chicago getting some breakfast, potentially picking up his good old buddy A Raj at the O'Hare Airport. It's looking like that's probably not so much the case. I tweeted at him yesterday, Zadarius, if you picked up Aaron, let us know. Or if you didn't, just let us know how breakfast was. That's all we care
That's all it
about.
is.
It doesn't have you don't have to be like, yeah, I picked up Aaron or not. Like, if you want to keep that a secret, that's fine. But just tell us over easy eggs.
Where do we need to?
Were they scrambled?
If I'm if
How were they? Come on, give us
if
something.
I find myself downtown Chicago, where do I need to be enjoying a nice maybe a blueberry waffle or something like that, or maybe like some crepes or it's like I mean he seems like a breakfast type of expert. I mean he's driving all the way to Chicago to get breakfast. I mean
Yeah,
let's think about that.
yeah. And here's the thing too. It wasn't not like you know the one of these well-known breakfast brunch places in
Oh
Chicago.
yeah,
It's just kind of a little hole in the wall according to our sources. So, um,
interesting, interesting. I wonder.
not to say, I'm sure it was like a good place, and but it wasn't like one of these like you're up on the 30th floor in Chicago having breakfast, looking out
Yeah,
over the
they're not
lake.
bringing the
You know,
sparklers out with your orange juice. It's not.
yeah,
Not,
exactly. Yeah,
it's not one of
yeah.
those
So
spots.
hope. I mean, maybe they are. Who knows? But you know, at the very least, I just hope Zadarius had a great breakfast. Um,
Absolutely.
and yeah, and then hopefully Aaron Rodgers gets back in camp. Um, but yeah, it's definitely going to be interesting to see, and hopefully those lights will change sooner rather than later. I say give it a week or two. I think we'll be okay. I think there'll be some massive news coming out of Green Bay. It's going to make a lot of Packers fans happy. It's going to make the rest of the league not so happy.
I can't wait.
But you know, it is what it is. I will say this though, Nick. I didn't know this actually till I saw this on the Pat McAfee show, and they were talking with AJ Hawk. But the Packers don't use Toradol.
I never knew that either. I learned that too. I saw that same clip. I didn't realize they don't. Like out of all they're like the only team, right, that doesn't like at all.
I think so. I think
It's
so.
fascinating.
Which, yeah, it is fascinating, especially with the talks of the NFL limiting the Toradol use, for certain players. And I saw Pat reacting to it, and he's kind of a proponent of Toradol, or he talks about it a lot, saying it allows guys to be able to get back out there and help them. But I will say this, I went once I saw that come up about the Toradol being a terrible idea. At least that's what Pat thinks is, the NFL limiting Toradol is a terrible idea. I don't know if that is such the case. I think I think that is a step in the right direction. I mean, you hear a guy like AJ Hawk who he said he's like, well, I never had Toradol, so I never knew like it was something my body needed. I just adjusted other ways than that.
Right.
So, I think there is some solutions, especially if the NFL with marijuana, they say, yeah, go crazy, like,
Right.
well, not go, you know what I mean? Like,
Yeah, yeah.
use this as something that can heal your body,
Pain
help you out,
reliever. Yeah, for sure.
and not the drugs or the things that players get addicted to, the painkillers, stuff like that. So I do think it's a good step for the NFL to start limiting the use of it, but also you need to come with an alternative to make sure these guys are comfortable, they're able to play at their best. Because I know player safety is an issue and things that they're worried about, but these guys when they're in the league, they're worried about their bodies now and that they can play week in and week out. Not so worried about after, because now you're seeing guys like Albert Hainsworth.
Mm.
I don't know if you remember
Yep,
him, Nick.
yep.
Big guy.
Yeah, yeah.
He actually just had a kidney transplant last month, and he thinks it's because of all the painkillers and things like that, the Toradol shots and different things like that he's put in his bodies over the years to keep it running at a high pace. Because I did hear that was one of the side effects of Toradol is kidney failure.
Oh, wow.
So, and I did realize there was another guy in the NFL. I forget what his name is, but he also had kidney failure after getting out of the NFL, and he was only like 40 something years old.
Damn.
So, yeah, definitely there's some side effects there with the Toradol, or just with the amount of medications you take over your playing career. That I think it probably is a good idea to limit that. But also, there is some solutions out there that if the NFL kind of open their eyes a little bit, that could help these players and really limit the use of things like that, I believe.
Yeah, I think you definitely want to try to put the players in a position where they can be the healthiest after football. And I think at least giving them the information of, hey, we have a team in the league that doesn't use it. So we at least have that,
Yeah.
right? There's at least an
Yep.
example of a team that doesn't use it, which is really good. I'm sure that helps them to be able to make some decisions. It's not like players have
Yep.
avoided playing for the Packers in the past. Like, I'm not going to sign with them in free agency. They don't use Toradol. Like, that's not a thing that
Yeah.
really is coming up. So you do have a good example of a team that doesn't use it. I think at the end of the day, this feels like one of these issues to me where it feels like the players should be allowed to kind of choose what they want to do still. I think like them being able to decide, hey, is there an alternative and can we use that? And if there isn't, or if I want to use Toradol, that's fine. Like let them pick what they want to put in their body. I don't have like a huge issue with that. But I do think like making them aware of everything as a whole. These players are smart, man. Like this is this is a league with guys that have a head on their shoulders. Like I think
Yeah.
if you explain to them, here's what we know now. We didn't know this 10 years ago. We didn't know this 20 years ago. Here's what we know about it now. Here are your options, here are your alternatives, and then you kind of make the decision. As the player, you make the decision that you think is best for yourself. I think that's a good way to go about it. I think obviously it's not some huge thing like you said. AJ Hawks like I mean, we didn't use it in Green Bay, so like I don't really know what to tell you. I think, that
Yeah.
makes a bunch of sense. Like let them know, but at the end of the day, I guess you probably need to give those guys the option. But I think if you're having guys with kidney issues after it, then probably time to cut it out. And the NFL is
Yeah.
probably looking at this maybe from a litigation standpoint, like, hey, we don't want guys having these kidney issues and then looking back at us and going, this is why you guys, the training staff kind of forced me to take this at times.
Yeah.
And all of a sudden now you have a bunch of legal issues now with more information being available about Toradol. So the NFL is probably looking to cover themselves a little bit. But if they would just open up the marijuana policy and let players use that for some like to alleviate some of that pain. I mean,
Yeah.
that's what you got a bunch of legal states now. That's medical marijuana. That's the purpose of it, right? It's for pain relief for a lot of
Yep.
people. So they have an alternative that they might go to there, and hopefully they have a couple others. So interesting though,
Yeah. And I did.
nonetheless.
Yeah. I did hear about the Toradol thing. And that is like a kind of like a culture thing,
Mm,
because like stuff like that you did hear about it prevalent in like the 80s and 90s with guys, where in early 2000s and stuff like that, where these guys they probably didn't really care
right,
or about what the side effects. They just cared about getting back on the
right,
field, and they weren't maybe thinking so long term. When you see stuff come through with like the concussions and stuff, and the NFL is like, okay, well, we got to address this. I'm sure it's just going down the lines of some of that old culture that was in the NFL that they are slowly trying to get away from and make it better as a whole. And I think doing that, you'll have some guys that might have to naturally recover, from some injuries a little longer, so you might lose some
right.
guys during the season. But I think overall for that player's health, it's probably going to be a lot better. And who knows, maybe because have as if you don't have as much access to the Toradol, maybe your body's actually telling you like, no, like we can't play this game, like
Yeah,
we can't go any further. It's time to shut it down for the rest of the game. And who knows, maybe you do see significant a little bit longer recovery times, but these players are overall healthier. So that'd be something interesting to
yeah,
see
definitely.
as this progresses. The NFL is not super quick on anything, so it's probably going to take some time for it to play
Right.
out. Um, but Nick, I gotta say, some of these news outlets that puts out stories,
Bunch of jokers.
it's just unbelievable. It's unbelievable. Those guys over at the Fox Sports are saying Julio Jones being traded to the Tennessee Titans still does not make them AFC contenders.
I,
And I know the AFC is stacked,
dude,
but the Titans are stacked too. So, well, I mean, if that doesn't make them AFC contenders, what does it make them,
I
Nick?
know. I saw that headline killed me because I'm like, you mean to tell me that Fox Sports decided the day Julio Jones gets traded or the day after, everyone in the city of Tennessee is excited. People are probably calling their family members they haven't talked to in a while. Like, oh man, we got
Yeah.
Julio Jones. A cause for celebration across Tennessee. You're right. Anyone with half a brain can see that absolutely makes them contenders. And yet they decide to run a story, what, the day after he gets traded? That's like, so what? This trade means nothing. That's essentially what that story is. That's insane. Of course I agree with you entirely. Of course it makes them AFC contenders. Are you kidding me? Like this was already one of the better teams in the AFC. I like the Bills
Yeah.
and I like the Chiefs. But to think that that
Yep.
Titans team isn't now at a level where especially offensively where they can
Yeah.
keep up. AJ Brown was a Pro Bowler last year and they got Derrick Henry in the backfield. And say what you want about Tannehill, but I think people that talk about Ryan Tannehill in a negative way, I think are people who haven't paid attention since he left
Yeah.
Miami.
Yeah.
He is a good quarterback. That team is absolutely a contender. Like, have you ever,
Yeah.
my thing to Fox Sports is like, have you ever watched the NFL? You have no idea what's going to happen. Someone could get hurt. Hopefully not. Knock on wood, obviously. But someone
Yeah.
could get hurt in one of the other AFC contenders for sure. The
Yep.
Titans, because they play in a division with Houston and Jacksonville, who are probably going to suck this year, they might have a chance at getting a higher seed than some of these other teams. They might play 2 home games in the playoffs. Like, what are they talking about, dude?
Yeah, it is quite wild to see Fox Sports to put out such a clickbaity title,
Mm.
more clickbaity than any of the titles that we've probably put out,
First,
and we've had a
we've
controversial over Mac Jones being
people were not happy about
well,
that.
Mac Jones being mixed reviews.
Yep,
It was the title we put out, and people were like, "Yeah, bro, that's fucked up. Everyone loves
yep,
him,"
yep.
and it's like, "Oh, okay, well, maybe we missed the mark
Maybe
on this
watch
one. That's
the maybe
possible."
or maybe watch the video because in that video we
Yeah, because
said
we're responding to that.
yes.
Yeah, but
That's what I
and
would tell people.
but
Same thing with Kyler Murray.
but
People got pissed at us because we said, "Where is Kyler Murray?" The day, and then he showed up like an hour later at OTAs. We're talking about
yep,
he wasn't. Where was he before? That's like, come on, you know. So it's like,
yeah,
ah, dude. And this is some, and people get mad, man. They don't like the clickbait, but Fox
yep,
Sports can
and
apparently run freaking headlines like this.
that is just so absurd
It
too. Is
is.
the other thing because like let's be honest, the Tennessee Titans they were probably a top 4 or 5 team in the
Yep.
AFC before Julio
Yep.
Jones. I mean that's what they were last
Yep.
year,
AFC
and now they
Championship game
have
2 years
Julio
ago.
Jones.
Yes.
Yeah. So now they have Julio Jones. So like, what are we even talking about, Fox Sports? Get out of here. That's why we're coming for your neck. We're gonna be the next Fox Sports, but better.
Better.
So
Not running these
yeah, that's
ridiculous
so
headlines that make no sense. Yeah, absolutely. If you're a Titans fan, don't listen to those jokers. I think you should be excited as hell. You guys have a chance to do some special stuff. I don't know how you're going to
for
stop that offense anymore. You got a Pro Bowl receiver on each side of the field and Derrick Henry in the backfield. Come on, man.
yeah.
Like, do
Did,
better, Fox
did
Sports.
you see AJ Brown wanted his recruiting fee from the Tennessee Titans? He's been posting that over Twitter.
TikTok did
He's
it.
like, yeah, he's like, who else do we need me to get on the Titans? He's like, I got a little pull right now. So he's having fun
I
with it,
like it.
enjoying that, his hard work paid off to get Julio to Tennessee.
I
Um,
like it.
but yeah, Fox Sports, they're just completely wrong on this one, and I got no problem saying that. But another instance where someone is completely wrong,
Hmm.
and I think you'll agree with me, Nick, is the Denver Broncos and what they're doing with Jawan James, and not paying him his guaranteed money because he was hurt, away from the team facilities. But Jawan James filed a $15 million grievance against the Denver Broncos, pretty much just stating that like you require me to stay in shape, you know, away from the facility, and you give me programs to follow away from the facility. So like I don't, that's going to be. But I did see that he did file this grievance without the backing of the NFLPA,
Interesting.
which I thought was interesting.
It's very interesting.
Um, it is. So I don't know what exactly that is all about, or what the benefits or the cons would be to doing that without the NFLPA. I feel like you would have some backing there. But he did reach a 2-year deal with the Baltimore Ravens, so good to see him get on a
That's
team.
cool.
He's got 500 grand, this year as he recovers from that injury, and then next year I think they have him set up for like an $8 million year. But that's a good, potentially good pickup by the Baltimore
Yeah.
Ravens. Um, Given Jawan James can come back from a couple of injuries he's had now, in return to really good football shape. So
No doubt. That's
I will say, yeah, kind of crappy on the Denver Broncos in my
Yeah,
opinion.
for sure. I'm glad he filed the grievance. I think you and I talked about it when that story first came out. You're gonna have a bunch of the freaking
Yep.
old whites are gonna come out of the woodwork, don't know what they're
Yep.
talking about, complain about he shouldn't get paid. All the same people that love that the owners are billionaires but hate that the players are millionaires. All those jokers are
Yep.
come out of the woodwork, mad that he filed this grievance as if they wouldn't do the exact same thing.
Yep.
It's one of those things where I'm glad he filed the grievance. And to anyone that's hearing me say this and that is upset with me, here is my argument to you. If it were your kid was playing for a team and he called you and he was like, yeah, the team, they send me my workouts, like they really want us to work out in the off season, blah, 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 blah. You explain the situation that they are
Yeah.
making you work out. They're like, look, you got to work out in the off season. And then you got hurt and the team was just like, no, thanks. You're telling me you would look at your son and be like, tough luck, man. No, every
Yeah.
person I know would be telling him, call your agent, call your lawyer. That's ridiculous. What, like, so in reality, I don't think there's anyone, or very few people at least, that actually have a principled stance on that issue. I think most of the NFL fans, if they would really take the time to be thoughtful about this, are on Jawan James' side at the end of the day. And I think it's awesome he filed the grievance. And the Ravens, dude, you're right, getting a freaking steal. Like you pay this guy $500,000 this year, let him rehab at your facility, and then you get a
Yeah.
good player. Like he's there now, and he probably loves you guys because you stepped in and were like, dude, we see something in you. Like, let's do this
Yeah.
thing. Like, you're good. Your
Yep.
career is not even close to over. Like, we love what you do. So he probably loves being in Baltimore. They love having him, and I hope the Denver Broncos lose that whatever it is, like the grievance
The grievance.
case. I
Yeah.
hope they do.
I will say this. Denver Broncos fans, if you ever had a hope of getting Aaron Rodgers on your team, that shit is shot out the window.
For sure.
Because you got a guy, Aaron Rodgers, talking about philosophy, and you're the Denver Broncos. You think you're gonna trade for him after just doing this to a player of yours? Get out of here. Forget about it. Ain't gonna happen. He ain't going to that team.
Absolutely.
That team's versus the team he's already at. Come on now.
For sure, man.
Come on, Denver. So any more Denver Broncos talk and A Raj does cut it
Yeah,
out, because you can't even take care of the players that are trying to be with your team and work out in the off season or
for sure.
whatever. You know, so there's if I'm looking at the writing on the wall, I don't. There's no way that he goes there, especially after all of this,
Yep.
because that was his principal stance when he went on the Kenny Mayne show talking about philosophy, and it's the people that make this thing go. And here's a clear instance of the Denver Broncos saying, well, it's not all the people that make this thing go,
Yep.
which to me is very, very shitty. But I will say this, Nick, there is one person in the NFL that does make the NFL go.
Oh,
And do you know who that is?
who is it, Scott? The man himself.
It's pretty magical. He's a pretty magical of a guy.
He's
Some would say his beard is less than good, or at least not as good as yours.
big brain, Harvard
I,
grad. I think this guy is right. This guy's a.
is he a
I think
Harvard
he went.
grad? I don't know. He looks like a scholar
I
for
think
sure.
he's a pretty smart fella. I think he went to Harvard. I believe I actually have a photo of this gentleman here. Uh,
It's his first day of school.
First day of school, yeah, for Mr. Ryan Fitzpatrick. There we go. There's that photo right there for you guys. And look
Oh,
at this.
beautiful.
Look at this magnificent man with his. So, if you're familiar with Instagram, and you know anyone that has a small child, you've probably seen a version of this photograph before. But Ryan Fitzpatrick decided to take a little bit of some liberties with his sign here, and let's see here. He's 74 inches tall. That's probably my favorite part of this. As I'm looking at it, that is probably the best part of this. But yeah, man, dude, having some fun.
he def- yeah, he definitely had some fun, and I did see some other Washington football players. They kind of did a few of those as well. But I believe that was the U.S. betting. Who tweeted that out, Nick? Do you
It was like
recall? Is
U.S.
it?
bet, yeah, U.S. bet online or something along those lines, I believe.
Yeah,
I'll try to get,
something along
yeah, yeah.
those lines. I mean,
I'll try to get them
it's a
pulled up
betting
here.
site for sure.
There it is. It's
You know, but
BetUS Sportsbook and Casino. That's at BetUS underscore official on Twitter. And look, hey, BetUS, I'm not saying, but I'm just saying, we like what you guys are doing here. So I don't know.
I
Maybe
mean,
reach out.
hey, you're tweeting out some good stuff. We're a sports show that definitely is looking to add a gambling aspect, but we don't have that go-to company to help us out with that. So who knows? Could be you guys.
No doubt. Type of
So
you're
that being said, we're not cheap. No, I'm kidding. We're the cheapest we're ever gonna
you'll
be.
never
So but yeah, super cool to see Ryan Fitzmagic having a little fun on the football field. It seems like, the Washington football team is kind of changing the narrative there, have some goofiness, trying to be better than what they were before. Which is very exciting.
no
Definitely
doubt.
very exciting.
No doubt. I think you get a lot of this stuff in the NFL, man. I always like to see it. I think, in fairness, there's some room in the NFL for where, you want to be the New England Patriots, right? I totally understand that. I get the
Yeah.
idea of the, show up and we're gonna work and we're gonna do this and that. But to be honest, in the NFL, you're dealing with professional athletes. For the most part, they are showing up and they are working hard and they're focused. It's not so much of an issue. It's not like you're coaching high school or college kids, and so you can have these times where you can get a little silly out there and have a good time with it. Fans enjoy it, I'm sure, and it's always good to see. I always love to see stuff like this during training camp. I always think it's good.
Yeah. For sure. And also, Washington football team, here's a little idea for you. Feel free to take it, feel free to not. I don't really care, but it would slap. But you guys should do the TikTok trend where it shows Ryan Fitzpatrick like just walking in his like uniform and stuff, and then you do like a younger version of Ryan Fitzpatrick, but it's like the old film footage type of lens. That trend, I don't know if you're familiar with it,
Yeah,
but that would probably slap. And if you don't have the younger footage of Ryan Fitzpatrick, just get like his kid or a kid that could play that role for you. But those have been doing very well. I think that would do good for your organization. That's just a little olive branch to extend to you guys as to begin our relationship
do
here.
you think that the move is moving forward? Like, do you think, like, especially like this season, the move for all these teams is to lean heavy into the TikTok content? Like, is that sort of like
Yeah.
they should all be like, not just them as
Yeah.
the team. Like, I'm almost thinking like they should be empowering the players. Like, hey, like if you guys are gonna put anything
Oh, for
out, like like put it on TikTok. Like, look, everyone that already is gonna find out about us already follows us on Twitter. They already follow us on
yeah.
Instagram. Is TikTok the move this year?
Yeah, I think you're going to see a lot of football content in TikTok, especially with because like you think about just easy things you could throw up on your TikTok as an organization, but like touchdown celebration, sack dances, like those are easy, like 5 second
Yeah.
videos to like throw up. And it's like if you're looking at it just as like a team stance, like that's where I would focus all my not all my attention, but like a good heavy
Yeah,
amount
no doubt.
because that's kind of the way things are the attention is going, so that's where you need to be. But yeah, I think you should definitely be encouraging your players who want to, because you definitely have guys in that demographic who are the age of like, hey, let's like throw up some TikToks.
Right.
And then you get a guy like Tom Brady who likes the internet aspect and is leaning more and more into that. And you put a guy like him, like, hey, yeah, Tom, let's get some TikToks going and stuff. He would jump on board, and then that just kind of trickles down.
Yeah,
So
for sure.
yeah, I think if you're an NFL organization, you're stepping on the gas.
Yeah, for sure. I think so too.
You
That's gonna be kind of awesome. I look forward to it. I think, yeah, I think you're right. And
Yeah.
fans in the stands and stuff. So, dude, can you imagine the amount of TikTok content we're gonna get from fans in some of these stands? Like, can you imagine like the Bills Mafia now back tailgating and like all the TikToks that will come out of that parking situation?
Yeah.
Let alone like the Vegas Raiders. Like, that is going to be awesome. Like the amount of like content for like like Barstool and platforms like that like just absorb it all like and get like they gather all that
Yeah.
content. That's going to be
Because
nuts.
like yeah, because think about like how much content was put out in this last year
Yeah,
with things going on, but not a lot going
right.
on. Now, step on the gas a million, things are open up. You got people raring to go. That this year, this next year in content, the you will probably see the biggest spike in content,
Yeah,
as well as probably some of the most genius content you will see. Um, I won't say in a long time, but you are going to see the content value go up
yep.
tremendously too.
My money
So it's exciting.
For my money, it's on the Bills. I think the Bills will do the best. I saw the Bills put a TikTok out yesterday of Josh Allen just throwing footballs at a helmet on the ground, like next to
I
him.
saw that.
That's like 3 feet away from him. And he's just throwing footballs at the helmet. And it was for Adult Swim.
Yeah,
Freaking
yeah. The
awesome.
Adult Swim trend.
Yeah, it's
Yep,
going.
I want to
And
see an Adult Swim trend for
the
us.
fact that
Actually,
we should definitely,
yes,
and all the
yes,
fact that the Bills had the foresight to go, "Yep, we're gonna jump on this right now." Like that trend is like not that old. That's like a 2 day old trend at this point. Like, and
yes.
they jumped on right away. That's a good sign. Like they're thinking that
Yep,
way, and
for sure.
definitely, and so are we though, as you just said.
Yeah, we're here for
So
it.
that
Okay, we're here before you were here for it, so we're excited about it. Hey, this NFC and this NFL season is gonna be lit. We're planning on hoping to get out to a couple of games this year. Maybe see
no
some of
doubt.
y'all faces in the crowd. But yeah, it's gonna be a fun time. It's gonna be a fun time to say the least. But hey, that's all we got for the show today. Make sure you sign up for that newsletter. It's in the description below. There's a lot of great information there. Nick does a fantastic job. Also, feel free to like and subscribe. If you like and subscribe, that is the best way to help our channel. And we appreciate it. We do. We appreciate it. We appreciate 1 view, 2 views, 3 views. These big companies, they take it for granted. Fox Sports, they don't even care. You know, not one, not two, not three,
That's what it is.
not four, not five,
That's what it is.
but 6 views. That's what we're aiming to get. Um, but yeah, guys, had another great episode with you today. I think that's it for the show.
That's what
You
it is.
jabronis go watch something else on the internet, but it ain't gonna be us. Nick, you got anything for the people at home?
Guys, have a good day. Tuesday, nice little Tuesday here. At least where I'm at. Go try to enjoy it. Have a good time. Titans fans, we would never disrespect you like Fox Sports. Just so you know, that's certified.
Never.
Take that to the bank. Otherwise,
All the way.
adios. We'll see you guys.